fall down the broken road. I call on you to help me carry the load. Oh Lord, you never let me down.
Thank you for joining us today. Anything you hear in this podcast is not to be taken for medical advice. This podcast is for information purposes only, and should you find something interesting in the information spoken about, please consult your physician further.
Hello and welcome to the Broken Road Podcast. I'm your host, Trent Peterson. Today I'm joined by Luke and Jen Balloun and my wife, Amber, partner in the Broken Road Project. Luke and Jen are going to be two new volunteers with us. Luke actually had a stroke, and we both were part of the same day neuro program. So I thought it would be awesome to have them on for the season finale. And this will be our last episode of the year and kind of gearing up for next year. So we'll be talking about that along with your story and plans for the future. So thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Really good today. I'm excited about it. I'm glad to have Amber back on. It's been a little bit. So
It's been a minute.
really excited. So I guess we'll just start off. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves, what y'all are about, where you come from, what you do?
Sure. Well, I was born in Kansas, Russell, Kansas. We moved to Texas when I was a young child, and was raised in Fort Worth, Arlington kind of area. I've basically been in construction most of my life, kind of like you. Mm-hmm. My dad was with a top TV evangelist. He was a part of that program for a while, several years, but then he started construction, and I became a contractor too.
Okay.
So not real exciting, but that's pretty much where I was at. I had a point where it was me and my brother were running the construction company, and he kind of went off into the roofing side of it, and I went off into my direction. And anyway, that didn't work out very well, so I became a claims adjuster.
Okay.
So I've been an insurance claims adjuster for about 8-9 years now.
That can be a profitable area of work too, in construction. I know that. I got a couple friends that do that. So
yeah, it was perfect for me. It was an easy transition from construction to adjusting, and I was enjoying it a lot. I'm not doing it right now, but
yeah, we'll get to that here shortly. Yeah. How about you, Jim? What do you do?
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom and running around with the kids.
It's a super important job.
Yeah, it really is. My whole goal was to pour into those kids, Mm-hmm. And so being with their friends and being available to Luke, whatever was needed, that was my job. And I was grateful to do it. We met in college and had our children, got married, had our children, and we both desired to just pour in to
get that correct order.
Yeah.
We didn't have our children and then get married.
That's right.
But good humans, right? Yeah. Good godly humans is what we want.
Mm-hmm.
It's a goal.
That's the goal.
It's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what you had said, that you've poured into the ministry as well over those years, and that's kind of also been a project or job, so to speak, of yours. I mean, if it's something you love, it's not really a job, they say, but you said that you've done that a lot over the years as well.
That's right. Yes.
What are some of those things you do? I know, for instance, that you send me audio recordings, and you said that you do that for other people as well.
I do. So I've been involved in several Bible studies, ladies' meetings. So I've poured into ladies through the years, and also children. That's just been my passion as teens. Mm-hmm. And single women, things that we can do to kind of give back and love on them and encourage them. And so I'd say over the last 10 years, I've done audio recordings for elderly, ones that can't necessarily read as well. Also just need that friendly, because I mean, you could send them an audiobook, but to send them my voice, encouraging them, showing them what I'm doing, where I'm being ministered to and poured into by the Holy Spirit, I also want to give that back to them. And it seems to have touched and ministered to many lonely, forgotten, put aside, my elders, basically.
I think it makes it more personal too when they can put a voice to a face.
And you have
It
a
really
very
does.
calming voice.
You
I mean,
do.
you send it to me. I keep those recordings, and sometimes I just press play if I'm kind of stressing on something, and it chills me out.
It's
So
the
thank you.
subject matter too.
I was about to say
Yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
message in it.
To tell them it's mainly the Heinz feet.
Yeah, I do read Heinz Feet on High Places a lot by Hannah Hernard. I think that's a really good allegorical journey of what we're on in this life. And I think it gives a really good picture of the great shepherd and our journey with him through sorrow and suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I have read that book to many a friend and stranger that has become my friend. And but of course I read the word as well, a lot of Psalms and those wisdom teachings I've been sending to you. Anything that where I feel the Holy Spirit come alive inside of me, I'm like, ooh, if I'm getting poured
share it.
into, I have to share it.
That's awesome.
And it just becomes compelling to me to share.
Yeah, I think the message comes through brighter too when it's something that you really, really hold dear to your heart. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's awesome. So volunteering is kind of natural for sure for you, and then for you as well, I'm sure, or not so much. I mean, be honest.
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, no. It doesn't come naturally to me to volunteer. In fact, that's something we have kind of had some pretty in-depth conversations about since what happened to me happened, was the stirring in my heart of basically being the antithesis of a helpful person. Just kind of being me and my family, kind of like you and I have discussed.
Right.
And I just was about me and about my family more than anything. And I have since come to realize that is a very, not only selfish, but ungodly way to go about your life. Mm-hmm. And I had just mentioned to her I don't really remember. You can correct me anytime kind of like you do with them. Correct me if I say something wrong.
I'm trying not to as much lately.
Timeline especially, I'm kind of fuzzy on it. But it seems like it was a couple weeks before this happened to me. I had maybe not an epiphany, but just my heart was open to the fact that I have not lived a life that was conducive to kingdom building for God, for the Lord. I believe in the Lord. I have had some amazing men of God and women of God around me my entire life. Had some amazing teaching that I feed off of it. I eat it. I put it in my body, and I want it to become me. But I have had issues with just being selfish.
Right.
So I had this weird epiphany a few weeks before this happened to me. I talked to her about it in her room. I remember standing there going, I don't know what is happening inside of me, but there's something happening inside of me that is telling me I'm not living my life correctly. I'm just wasting my time, because the Lord, as you know, isn't about what you say as much as about what you do. And I have just not, I guess you could say I'm willing. I have not actively pursued any endeavor whatsoever to be involved with helping and comforting the community of God, much less the community of what I'm now in, the stroke community.
Yeah, I think a personal mission sometimes takes a minute, right? You got to kind of have some discernment and be praying about it. And like, what is the mission? Yeah.
Well, it was definitely on my heart.
Yeah.
I expressed it to my wife, and within a few weeks, the kick, and it really clarified in my heart and in my mind that I have wasted. I don't want to be dramatic, So cut that if you want. I don't know, but I'm trying not to be dramatic, just truthful. That I felt like I have wasted 50 years of existence. That really, maybe the actual beginning of my existence was at my moment of stroke.
I don't think you're alone on that. And I feel the same way, and I struggled with that a little bit as I was in recovery. And I was convicted more about where I was going and where I had been in my life. So I can relate a lot to that. And I don't think that, like I said, again, I don't think that's very unusual to feel that feeling of waste, but I don't think that we wasted necessarily our time. I mean, obviously it works in God's time, and he had to give us a swift kick in the butt, I guess, to wake us up. But it's a constant thing I say. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but it's really been a game changer for me. My heart is a lot more open, and my desire to help others is tremendous. It's almost it aches to not be doing it now, and every day that I'm not out, or if I have a down day, because we have down days as stroke survivors, those days really bother me. I feel like I should be out doing something. I should be doing this. And we've talked, and you've helped me through some times that I was struggling with that, and let me know, that I'm just only human too, and there's only so much I can do. But it's, I totally get that.
Yeah. I think that's a story that a lot of people that have gone through some major, like a profound health situation, where maybe your life was on the line or you just had a major kind of switch, can relate to being like, what have I been doing? Like, it's an awareness that you just didn't have beforehand. Some people are just blessed to have that, without that major life situation happening. But I feel like when I talk to more people that have especially had major health situations happen, that is a story that kind of rings true all the way through.
And that makes sense. That's why I'm not trying to act unique. I know it's not unique to me, but it is obviously a method that the Lord uses to get through to some people.
We're so fragile.
And sometimes we need to be reminded of our fragility. We need to be humbled. We just need a kick in the pants. And I did, and I freely admit it now. And I see it as a positive in a lot more ways than I see this as a negative, because I have kind of crossed over into this, like you said, different. I'm just overall different. I'm different in some ways, a little better, and in some ways I'm a little more agitated. I'm having to work on some things, but one of the good things is that I now see that my life isn't about my own kingdom building. It is about expressing and pushing forward the kingdom of God. What other reason were we created for? Right. There is no other reason if you really believe this word of God that we claim to believe. There are so many examples of people in the Bible that have gone through. We were just discussing maybe that was a stroke that Paul was talking about, right. that thorn in his flesh. Who knows? I don't know. I know he said it was of the devil. Right. So it was bad, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So whatever we are dealing with it's a matter of perspective, but it's also just a matter of the heart and faith and foundational belief that we have claimed our whole life. I don't know. You said you were raised around, and you probably weren't. I think am I getting that correct?
I was raised in it as like I was baptized when I was 12 years old, so I've been a believer for a long, long time. But I didn't have people feeding into me. Okay. And I think that's a big, pool of knowledge that you're just kind of floating in that you don't really absorb.
Well, I was fed a lot. I know. So the imposter syndrome feeling with me was very strong. It was very strong in me. And it's what really was coming out of me to her that night when I was, I wasn't weepy or really even emotional, but I just was like what am I doing? Yeah. What is this? life that I've created for myself, I've had all this fed into me. My father is my example, because of his efforts, not because of his perfection. Just seeing the effort my dad has put into this life for 75 years is a big thing to me. And so I was having a revelation, I guess, at the moment about how little I had actually put into my life, what had been fed into me my entire life.
Right. And
So
what
I
you
think
had to
that's-
offer.
I think that's a good segue to kind of talk about your stroke and, how you ended up at this point, and actually got there.
Well, it wasn't a health-related stroke. It was an injury. It was due to a chiropractic manipulation of my neck. Mm-hmm. And it's no one's fault necessarily at all. And doctors have told me there's different scenarios. It could be the actual reason. Who knows exactly? I don't blame the chiropractor at all. Mm-hmm. It's something that person had done for me several times. I've had other chiropractors work on my neck before. So it's not anything that was brand new or out of the ordinary for me, except for that this time it just did not go well. Right. And this person manipulated my neck, and within about 30 seconds, I knew something was not right. I thought I was having a heart attack. My heart was beating 1,000,000 miles an hour. I couldn't stand. I had to sit down. And within a few minutes, I thought, yeah, that was deep, and that was not good. Something's not good. But I thought, I'm really going to be sore. So I sat up. Within 30 seconds, I could feel it. Something wasn't right. So anyway, fast forward about 20 minutes. They had me move to a different chair to sit in and relax and breathe deep and see if I could just overcome it. I said, call my wife. I've got to have her come get me. I'm not driving home. I just need to relax. I need my wife here. So they called, and you were, I don't know what you were doing, but you were like, okay, I can be there in about 15 minutes. And in my mind, I was going, I don't know how this is going to feel in 15 minutes. Just hurry. Okay, I'll hurry. Well, before she got there, this person asked me, how are you feeling now? And I slurred. I couldn't talk. And their eyes got real big, and I might have thought, stroke. This is not heart event. This is stroke. So I mumbled it, stroke, ambulance. And they called an ambulance immediately. They were there. It seemed like they were at the door by the time they hung up. It's like.
And you got moved up?
Right after.
So she got there right after. They had already taken my blood pressure and looked at me and had me do tests. And I heard the guy saying, this is really bad. Which is really, really urgent. Mm-hmm. He's having a massive stroke. We've got to get him to a hospital emergency room right now. And I think I heard him say, fire up the whirlybird or something. And they had, within just a mile of there was, I guess, a landing pad. And I think there happened to be a medevac, what's it called? Care flight was there.
God's plan.
Yeah, so I mean, within like less than 5 minutes, they were loading me on that helicopter.
It's amazing because we all know the time is of the essence.
It's of the essence.
Cold chills there.
Yeah, with a stroke, time is of the essence. As far as lessening the how bad, what level of bad it is, I personally didn't think I was going to make it through the helicopter flight.
Right.
When they loaded me in that thing, and I had like 3 inches above my face.
I understand. I know exactly what that feels like. It was not a fun ride. And I like riding. I like flying and all that.
Fast
all my
and all
buddies
the
like,
things.
oh yeah, it's cool. You got it. I was like, no, it was not cool.
It was not cool. I can confirm that.
Yes, it's hot, uncomfortable, scary. All of those things.
I remember I couldn't even say anything. I don't even know if I said I love you. I just said I'm sorry. I I couldn't believe this was the way I was going to go.
Right.
I just sitting in that helicopter and just ramping up, and I heard, I couldn't turn my head to see there was two people behind me, and they were joking around, just having a normal day.
Yeah.
I could hear them joking with each other. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to be dead. And
Did they have you strapped in, or you just felt like you couldn't move your neck?
No, they do strap you in really
Okay,
tight.
I figured so.
So I land. My daughter's best friend happens to be a care flight nurse.
Oh, wow.
So you called my daughter, and she called her best friend, who
called Valerie.
You called Valerie,
Yeah.
who is my daughter's best friend, who then contacted all her buddies and said, this is my best friend's father that's about to land at Harris, and blah, 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 blah. So they were like, we got him. And I mean, as soon as I landed, number one, I couldn't believe I was still alive. But then I was just swarmed, like, with all these people telling, we're here for you. We know who you are. And Valerie told us. And I just felt this rush of adrenaline of, I'm going to get really good care. I just felt confident that the people that I was running into were, I don't know. I can't even describe the feeling I had, but it felt as good as it could feel, I guess, in the moment. Fast forward. My father shows up. This is real fuzzy, kind of like you have said in your story. I have like just snapshot pictures of stuff. And but one of the main things I recall is these doctors that were kind of like in a semicircle around my bed. One of them spoke up and said, we recommend, I think it's called TPA shot, clot shot, whatever you want to call it. And so we recommend it. It can kill you, but we think you have a straight ischemic. They call it a bilateral dissection of both arteries at my brainstem is where it hit, but it was ischemic. So I wasn't bleeding out. I wasn't hemorrhaging. And to them, they said that is the key. When I think it was a lady, I don't know, pointed to all the doctors, said we are in consensus that you are not bleeding out. You're not hemorrhaging. We recommend the shot. It could kill you, but it also could push all this stuff through your veins and, I guess, out of your system.
I'm sorry to stop you, but I kind of got teared up there because I wish in your story that you had somebody there when you landed, and you didn't. I was still on my way there. We had friends on their way, but I could only imagine what that ride was like.
Yeah, it was huge, and I can't express or describe how thankful I am to not only Valerie but the people that she called, because they did a great job in calming me down. I can only imagine my heart rate must have been somewhere around 200, but just them smiling at me and saying, "We know who you are. We know you. We're here, Luke. We're here for you."
So I think that's a good spot to pause and kind of catch back up your experience to that, because I try to push this a lot. Amber getting a little bit emotional about that. I am too. It just brings back some heavy memories. And I think about what you went through, and I think that's something that's not very. It doesn't get talked about very much. So, you and I, we get all this attention for, okay, we had a stroke, but you and Amber both had a stroke in a different way, and had to experience that feeling of helplessness and whatever else. I don't know. Can you kind of tell that up to that point from your viewpoint? Would you mind kind of telling it what it was like to be Jen at that moment?
Sure. The very interesting part was before Luke left, he was working on taxes. And so he had laid all this paperwork out and he was going through receipts and whatnot. And he asked me to kind of shuffle through and get it organized. And I said, sure. But when he left, I had this feeling. I was like, you know what? He's going to be gone for a while. I'm going to run to town. And then I'll still get back in enough time to do what he's asked me to do and get it organized. But the whole time, the Holy Spirit was guiding, because I was that much closer to him to get there in that amount of time to see him before he got on the flight and to know what was happening. If I would have been home, I wouldn't have made it. And so that was a really odd, but just when you look back on it now, you go, okay, we were totally being guided and didn't know it, because why was I trying to rush to get into town and then hurry up and get back? And while I was in town at a store is when he called. And when he called and I heard him speak, I thought, oh my gosh, he's paralyzed. So that was my initial. He thought he was having a heart event. I thought they cracked his neck and he's paralyzed. And so I was like, I am on my way, dropped everything, got in the car, headed there, walked in and saw them working on him and him looking at me and saying, I'm sorry. So that's exactly accurate what happened. He's saying, I'm sorry. I'm like, you are totally fine. This is not your fault. And then just trying to get the blood to come back as it's rushing, and all your adrenaline is going, trying to get myself to a place where I could hear what they were saying and, be present.
Yes,
Because
it's
you're
hard.
flying away.
It's hard to be present in that moment. And you're like, what's happening? And you're hearing it and you're like, what's happening? And you can just take a breath and just try to figure out the next step, and hopefully people guide you to what that is.
That's right. You really need them to grab your hand and kind of tell you what these steps are. But even when they do, you can't hear it. Because you're trying to pull yourself back into this place to be present.
Yes.
And so I remember getting outside, because they were quick. They were like, everything he's saying is true. They're like, the time is of the essence. So they're getting him ready. They're putting him on and getting him into the ambulance. And a care flight nurse maybe came up to me and said, okay, here's what's happening. This is what you need to do. Here are your steps. And I looked at him and said, I apologize. All I'm hearing is wah, 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 wah. I don't understand anything you're saying. And he paused and he smiled really big. And he just said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to take him to Harris. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I got into my vehicle. Luke's truck is there. My vehicle is now there. And I thought, oh my goodness. Okay. I don't think I can drive all the way to Harris, but I am 20 to 25 minutes from home, back roads. I'm going to call my father-in-law. So I called him and told him what happened and that I was going to come in. And he's like, let me pick you up. And I said, I think I just need to get a bag, get a few things, and we'll head out.
Yeah.
He's going to beat us no matter what, to the hospital.
Which is part of what they should have told you right then. It's probably what you weren't hearing, and they're trying to tell you, be careful. We're going to get there before you.
Yeah.
There's no sense in hurrying.
That's right.
Which is really hard to hear.
Right. So there was so much going on in that moment. But when I got in the car and I took my deep breath and I prayed and talked, me and the Lord having a conversation, and I talked to my father-in-law, Mike, I was like, okay, we can do this. The Lord will be with us every step of the way.
Yes.
So this peace began to come upon me and I began to drive. And as I drove, I remembered Valerie is a care flight nurse. She has worked at that pad with these people. So I called her and I said, I don't know what the next steps are, but here's what's happening. And so she said, I've got you and I've got Luke and we've got this. And so she took over. She did what she knew to do. She made the phone calls, told me Luke wouldn't be alone. She also would find out as much information as she could find out, because at that point I didn't really know if he was going to make it in flight.
Yeah.
And didn't know how I was going to find out, what was happening if I didn't have her.
Yeah.
And so I was so grateful. And then I proceeded to call my two children, made it. And to my father-in-law, we got in and we came and met up with Luke. So that's where.
And that kind of catches us up. I'm sorry.
Well, I just would like to take a moment for all the emergency workers out there, how important it is that as it's happening to your loved one, you're so happy that they're, knowledgeable and they're there, and there's a haste involved in the moment. But it's such a valuable thing to just come and just steady yourself and speak to the person's loved one, like everyone out there, like how important that is, because especially when you're married, or if it's your child, your father, somebody that close to you, you are kind of one person. It is your other half. It is your child. It is your limb. It is your arm. It is your person that gave birth to you. It's, and how important that just quick conversation of just, steady, and then just tell me my next step.
Right.
Even you don't have to tell me all of it, but and how quick of that moment is just so imperative, and it helps
and I
so
think
much.
it's hard for them. You do have to kind of. I agree 100%.
It's the person they're usually focused on.
It is a day-to-day job for them. They see a lot of traumatic things, and they have to compartmentalize that. I think they all probably do still. There is some empathy there, but they cannot have that in that moment. So, in that haste, I think what you're saying is very true. And I think it would help them to remember that we are people, and that it is somebody that we love, somewhere in there. But I'm just saying that in their defense as well.
Oh, yeah,
that
no,
it is a day-to-day to them. They're compartmentalizing some things. They are trying to save your life.
And they need that to be effective.
And a lot of those guys, to be really good at their job, they're very, there's a personality that goes with that. And that's why they're really good at what they do. It's like, okay, I understand you have feelings, but what I'm doing is saving your person's life.
Right.
And I don't really have time for feelings right this minute. So,
Right. I get that.
But it is something, taking that moment with doctors, especially once you get there, and saying, okay, this is what's about to happen. This is where it's going. Instead of, we're going to push TPAs, and we got this much heparin, and
like, what does that mean?
Talking on a whole nother, talking over your head,
Right.
instead of just saying, hey, everything's going to be all right. This is what we're going to do. You got the best care available. So, I mean, when you do get that, it's awesome.
Something I would thought about later after the fact, because they're trying to go over logistics with you. Like, are you a part of our Care Flight program? Things like that's what he's trying to go over with me, right? That I'm just going, what I hear is wah, wah, wah. What I thought of later, which I thought would be very helpful, would have been a card or a paper with the information they're giving you. Because you're not hearing them. You're thinking, I hope he doesn't pass away on that flight. He's talking, I'm not, registering. I'm thinking my next steps. So if I would have gotten some kind of pamphlet or a card with that information of how to join Care Flight, their program, my steps that I needed to do on the computer, because you're not thinking like that logically, in that moment, you're trying to pull yourself down to the ground and get grounded in that moment. And so you can't hear all the facts he's trying to give me. It's just so thankfully for me, I had Valerie, who said, here's what they were trying to tell you, and I will take care of it. And Valerie took care of all of that for me.
Nice.
Yeah, because you sign up right then, it's like $75 or whatever it may be, and and that's covered as long as you can get that done in a certain amount of time, instead of the tens of $1,000 a year.
And I was going to say that our emergency room, which I wasn't able to state in our story when we told it, but as long as you have that phone call before 12 o'clock that evening of the incident, you were covered. So I don't think a lot of people recognize that. Like, they feel like, oh, I mean, this bill's coming, which is something just on top of what is happening to you at the moment.
I recommend everybody go ahead and spend that money on the Care Flight and get it done.
That's right.
Have it.
You look at it and you're like, man, I don't want to pay that, but I think it's $75 a year, or what is it?
It was real minimal. But the fact that I wasn't on this timeline needing to have it done before he took off in the air, when we're such a quick moment happening, was a relief that Care Flight offers that, as long as it's done within that day. And people just don't know that, I don't think. But our emergency room, thank goodness, was good at telling me that. And they were like, just calm down, drive there, get there. And when you get there and you have a moment, start this. And it was like, okay, I could take another deep breath. with what was happening.
Right.
So
And my stroke happened actually after. I was care flighted because I had 100% blockage in this arm. They were worried about me losing my hand, and I had a thrombus in my heart. So there was multiple things. This is what ended up leading to my stroke the next day. But it was all still very touch and go what was going to happen, especially with the blood clot in my heart. She didn't know it was happening. And they did have to, I remember that part. I was pretty conscious. I was conscious during that. I hadn't taken any pain medication yet. But after they told me I was about to get on the helicopter, I was like, oh, load me up.
I'm about to go on a trip that I don't want to take. Yeah.
So anyways, but it was deer in the headlights, and I can only imagine for both of you what that moment was like. I know for me, I felt the same way. It's just like, I'm so sorry that this is about to happen. Because up to that point, I was used to being the not only the provider, but also the protector. And just kind of that was what I prided myself in. If there was that's the best way I can say that. And I think that kind of works us into the next thing that is important for everybody to understand. I think I push for it a lot is that, and I had that in my question. There's a couple things, but how has that affected at post-stroke now? We've been through therapy, done all these things. I think you're making a great recovery. You still have some deficits. I know that you're overcoming, but I'm sure there's some mental and emotional things you're dealing with now that you didn't deal with before, and that lack of being able to do what you were able to do.
Yeah. This is a perfect opportunity to just say that I know the struggle that you're talking about. And like you, I lean on my faith, and I lean on the Word of God. And when it says that His goodness is made perfect through our weakness, or when we are weak, He's strong, that He's perfected. His character is perfected in us being weak. He is the one with the wisdom and the strength, not us. And that is the good side of all this happening to two men like us who not necessarily tough guys. I don't know what you are. I'm not a tough guy. I just definitely want to take care of my family. Right. And I want to do what a man does. And yes, that is a struggle. It's been I take that back. It hasn't been a huge struggle because of my faith and my grounding in the Lord, I feel like. But I acknowledge it, that it is there. How am I going to work? What am I going to do? Because it's pretty apparent immediately that the government was going to be of no help to me. Right. I pretty immediately, within a few weeks, I had doctors telling me, you're going to recover pretty well. You're going to do pretty good. I had people speaking into my life and telling me the Lord was revealing to them that I was going to recover. Some people were saying 100%. Whatever it is, it's going to be. I'm not overly concerned about it, but I did have moments of slight panic of just, how am I going to be a man? How am I going to provide? Thankfully, I feel like the Lord moved on a person that I know, and they offered me a job that I don't necessarily love, but it's a job, and I'm able to do something. Right. Like I said, the government was going to be no help to me because I wasn't that disabled. And I still don't fully understand the levels, but there is a level. There's levels to what they're willing to do. I didn't satisfy those levels that they needed to see in order to help me. So that being said, I'm fine with it. At this point, as far as the emotional side of it, I just feel like I am a little different. I'm a little more emotionally, what'd you call it?
Raw.
I'm a little more raw, a little more sensitive. Yeah, a little more sensitive to things that maybe could just rolled off my back earlier. Now I don't know what it is. I don't know where that comes from. I asked the Lord to help me because it seems like it's not right. But overall, I know the Lord's got me, and I know that what He intended for me to recognize through this is still in my heart and in my mind, and I am recognizing it. It's why I initially was interested in you and what you two have put together here, because as my dad has told me for quite a while, and really has made it a big point the past few years, get involved in something. Have a purposeful engagement with some sort of group of people or some organization or just something, anything that's laid on your heart that would be beneficial to the kingdom of God being represented and pushed forward in this earth. Do it. Find something and do it. Well, I hadn't put a whole lot of effort into that, and then this happened, and then I heard about you and saw you once. You came through, just kind of rushed through real quick, and you were saying hi to everybody. And I think I asked somebody who you were, and they told me, and I thought, there's something I could grab those coattails.
Because you were already up there visiting. You weren't even there in therapy when you saw him come through, or you were still in therapy when you saw him come through. Okay.
Yeah, and I went from.
This was the initial time he saw you.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw you was just I was in a wheelchair. Actually, it was the first week I was there, so I came in a wheelchair, and within about a week or so, they had me up and moving around. But yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
It is. It is pretty amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah,
because you do not believe you can do it.
Right.
It just none of us do. Yeah. And then they're like, nah, shut up, stand up.
Yeah. Like your brain can't comprehend like how I could go from here to here in such a short time unless you've seen it for yourself. And I think that's where you're mentoring both of y'all coming in back into that space and saying, just believe it. And I think that's at least, 25% of it, 50% of it is just believe it and it will happen. It's an amazing journey and you got to take it.
That's right. And there are stages to this recovery. The first stage is very raw and it's very disbelieving. My first day at Day Neuro, since we're calling them out, and shout out to all of them there. They are all awesome. I love everything about it. But that first day, I did not love anything about it. I was tired. I was just wanting to sleep, and they're pushing me around this place, telling me all these great opportunities that I would have there, and I'm just not believing it. Yeah, I'm like, this is I don't know if it'd be a waste of time, but this is going to be a lot of work for very little benefit. So I didn't believe it, but I saw people. That first day, everybody was so chipper and so happy and so positive, and I just wanted to, just walk around and slap everybody. It's like, why is everybody so positive? I can see all of you, and you all have problems. I can see it, but it's just that's just the kind of nature they put together there at Day Neuro. They create a culture, of just, you can do it. And even if you're having a bad day, they will find a way to turn that frown upside down.
There's also a lot of faith up there. I mean, that was...
I came to figure that out too.
And as time's gone on and I've visited with more on a personal level, I find out more and more, and it's revealed more, and I'm like, wow, okay. Well, now all of those things come together. And that's cool. You saw me. It's weird when I go up there. A lot of times I have vision problems still in my left eye, so I know that sometimes I miss things when I go through there. I just can't see that well, and I do kind of get laser focused. It's like, okay, I see somebody I visited with, I'm going to go see them. I try to scan the room a little bit, see if there's somebody else I can talk to. But
well, you said hi. You didn't know who I was. I didn't know who you were, but you weren't ignoring anybody. You were on a mission. I don't know what you're doing. You're probably headed upstairs.
Yeah.
But once I asked somebody, who is that? They said who you were, and they said he just tries to help people. And if you met his wife,
Yeah, I'm kind of
Like,
chummy
he's just-
with Amber. Amber's kind of the.
It's just this crazy guy that wants to come up here and just, hang out and talk to people.
Well, I tell you, it was laid on my heart that day, the first time I saw you, of whatever this guy's doing, I can see, because everybody was saying, well, he's gone through the program that you're going through right now. And he's come out and look at him now. And have you met his wife? Oh, she's awesome. And all they do is they just go around trying to help people. And I was thinking, wow, that's all they do? That's all they do is go around and help people? And then someone's kind of got into depth and said, yeah, he's got this organization and he's starting this and he's doing a podcast. And they were really hyped up about it and pushing it. And you got to look at, he's only had, at that point, I think he had like 3.
Right.
They're like, you got to listen to all 3 of them. And I did. And
We started listening to you on our journey every day, 2-day neuro. It's what started his day. And he began to relate with you. And he said, this man is real. And yeah, it changed his life. It changed his perspective of going up there every day.
yeah, I was already having a change of heart, but that just kicked it right into this slot of here's what the Lord wants me to do.
So cool.
So it took a minute. Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
why I'm doing it.
So cool.
Thank you for telling me that, because nobody else has told me.
Yeah.
I don't get told that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat.
Well, I know people feel that way. Maybe aren't able to express it
Yeah.
like I am
I
right now.
don't need to be necessarily cold, but it's
No,
nice to
it's
hear it.
good.
It's good. To,
It's true. That's the thing, is it's true, because we looked forward to those mornings, getting in that 15-minute ride, listening to you on the way there. It changed the atmosphere in the car because you could relate with him, and it set you up for the day, I think, for success.
That's it.
yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, yeah, that's the whole point. And there was a lot of urgency in my heart to as I was trying to balance it, because I don't want to just do what I feel like in my mind and heart. I'm kind of like a little bit like you, and I'm just kind of like, if it's in my head, then let's go do it today. Why wait till tomorrow? Well, I was trying to be a little patient, let the Lord work, or at least I felt like it was all me in my own head, and I just wanted the Lord to speak, maybe. And it just throughout the days and just listening to you and watching it, I asked a few people a few more questions about you and what you had going on. And like I said, it just kind of felt like things were slotting into that place where this is what the Lord would have me do. I don't know how long. I don't even have a clue what do means. I don't know what I'm here to do. I just want to help people too.
I don't either have
We don't. I was about to say, we just, the community.
Listen, it's about the community, and it's about doing something for the Lord.
Yes.
And this community is ripe.
Oh my gosh, what a moment in time, right? To be able to witness to somebody, and for, that person in the corner that doesn't have their spiritual identity, honed or even known, to be like, and there be that much faith in that facility that I know that they can't just come right out and talk about, but then having all these people around that are going through the program, actual patients, to be like, I love the Lord and he's going to get me through this. And then witness to that person that is just really struggling, really, really struggling.
Yeah, this I heard it many times. She heard it more than I did. As I'm, crying from whatever PT or OT or whatever they decided to torture me with that day, she's making the rounds, talking with people, and there's a lot of people that confirmed this atmosphere is. And some people even say, I don't believe there's a God, but if there is or was, you people are a good example of it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
They could definitely feel the love and the
they
genuineness.
felt the Lord, even if they didn't know that's what it was, which is a big deal. It's a massive deal. And it is, in my heart, lines up with all the scriptures that talk about the Lord is a comforter to those who need comfort. and he's a father to the fatherless. And he is when we are at our weakest, he is made perfect in his strength. His strength is shown through our weakness. And he is a comforter. And people like us need a lot of comfort, even if we're relatively strong in our faith and what we believe. We take comfort in our faith, but we also just need comfort.
Yeah.
So I want to be one of those people.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And I've told you many times.
It's a multiplier too. I mean, it's huge, you know, even if there's somebody that's there that they don't know, they weren't raised in the faith, they don't know anything about it, or they don't believe, it's undeniable whenever somebody's spirit led, and that's where they're supposed to be. So even if that day doesn't, and I've been reading about that here recently, but even if that day isn't the day, that multiplier is sent out, you know, and that seed has been planted there, and it's undeniable. So, you know, I don't need to necessarily see it. Just knowing that I have been in that area and I'm where I'm supposed to be, is comforting to me, even on some of the hardest days, which I think you were just saying a second ago.
That's what I'm getting at.
Because it was months later. You know, this was in his beginning when he first saw you and asked about you. This is months later before he sees you again, but still doesn't talk to you per se. And then all the way, a few more months go by. Now we've graduated, or Luke's graduated. I graduated from all the people that I love so much, and hugging on them every day, and encouraging them, which I still pray for each and every one of them. Yeah, there's not a face and a name that goes without me remembering and praying for them. And so when Luke did leave the program, we decided we were going to try to make every graduation that we could
Of the people that
we were in with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, and if not, then be able to try to see them in the kitchen, you know, and leave them with some kind of love and encouragement. And so, so it was months and months and months till we finally, I saw you and I was like, is that him, Luke? And he said, that's him. Don't bother him. And
we were up for a graduation.
Yes,
and
we're there.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so glad you came up. I mean, this has been
I hadn't been
awesome.
at Trent's Day Neuro because I had to get back to the huge job that we had. So I missed a lot of that, but I'm very, very thankful that my family was there, whether it be his sister, his father was such a spiritual man. So I'm so glad that he got to witness to them too. But I wish I would have been able to meet you in that environment, you know, earlier. But yeah, I think we were up there for a graduation.
It was God's timing, I think, is what I'm at, because Luke, like he was saying, I was just going off of what he was saying. He was wanting to wait and not push anything and wait on the Lord. And how, even though that seed of you was planted really early in our stay, maybe first week, it was months and months and months, maybe 6 months total before we actually had that. When I was like, nope, that's it. I'm walking up and I'm going to tell him, at least so he knows we're interested. We've been moved by the Lord to help. And is there any avenue or way that we can help?
So thankful for her being pushy that day, that we were able to meet you, and the friendship we've been able to have. It's been pretty special.
Very special.
Yes.
So on my list of questions, I had a question here for you, Amber. And, you know, we've tried to do a couple. It's been a little bit of a rough year for us. I've had some ups and downs with being over emotional and just not being able to get through a podcast very well with you. But we've tried multiple times this year. So, but today, I feel like, you know, we're finally
It's
things are
coming
moving
back
forward.
together. Yeah. Identity is a big thing, and I can relate to what that looks like, because I did have my own health scare, not a stroke. It was not that, but definitely wondering what the future looked like, right? And you have your spiritual identity, but we are put in this body, you know, and so I think that I could only imagine from where we went to where we are today, what that journey has been, and the steps you've taken. So I love you.
I love you too. So my question, back to the question. Thank you. I love you very much. But I did have a question I was
Yes.
getting to.
Okay.
Why is the broken road important to you in what we're doing? This is the season finale. I just kind of want to get that across. You know, there's a verse in scripture that says, don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. I've struggled through this year with being very open about what I'm doing, you know. But I've talked to Dad about it. Amber's talked about it. And it's at some point, because of what we're doing, I have to be pretty clear about it and actually talk about what we're doing. So thank you for mentioning that.
This is a very
Amber's been a big help.
intentional podcast today.
So why is what we're doing important to you? And I mean, we remember talking about it when we were still in day neuro, and you did come up there before that job started.
Yeah. Well, I honestly feel like it started when we were upstairs because we were noticing where insurance, not quite then, but, you know, the process of going through it and what it was, and that, you know, as we went through it, that you're not alone. You know, that's one of our biggest kind of mottos at the Broken Road, is just to let people know that you're not alone. And I think just knowing that community is there, and that it's going to be something that's going to be there even once you leave this place. I think that is just super important. But we were very fortunate through our church and our community here where we live that we were able to give back just in the moment that we were in the day neuro program, when we recognized that insurance was failing people and that you cannot do it on your own. And I'm not talking about having the community here. I'm talking about the Lord. And you know, when you saw that one footprint in the sand, that was not you walking, that was the Lord carrying you. And it's so true. And I just want people to know that. And so for us, even if I can witness to you, but that might not be your path, though I'll pray for you for that. And any person that I meet, thank you. It's that it takes a lot to get past a stroke and a TBI. And over community, it takes therapy, and it takes, you know, home care, and it takes, you know, monies to do that. It's a sad thing, but that's part of what our world is about. And so we just recognized super quick the need and what that looked like. And then it just kind of, you know, snowballed into how much need there is and how far, you know, monies could go if we could help raise. And we were very lucky that we had been business owners, so we knew what that looked like to start something new, though we have never done a nonprofit. We know that you need to reach out to, you know, recognize what that full vision looks like. And I felt like it was all God's plan that we had already had some of that, you know, in place, which helped us just not have fear of it, right? And let's jump out and we're going to just put our money forward, and we're going to let God, you know, God direct this, like you said, and what'll happen is what'll happen. And we've been fortunate in that whether it be, you know, our own money or just directing people and having, you know, Callie, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to her, that we were able to have somebody in the background kind of pushing that while Trent and I were, you know, having to focus on some other things. But I think the community for the Broken Road, and then being able to help people get back to whatever feels normal to them, or as close as they could be. You know, it's like the occupational therapist. We've even talked about this. What's important to you, you know, to get you back to that. Make sure you can get in your home. Make sure you can get in your bed. Make sure you have food in the evening to eat, or, you know, whatever that. Make sure you have an ear to speak with, to talk to. You know, Trent has this group that keeps growing larger and larger on a text message. And I've seen some of the silly memes that they send each other. And I think it's good to kind of laugh and joke about the place that you're in right now, but then to also be super serious with somebody and say, you know, what do you need? Mm-hmm. What can I do for you? What can I pray for you for?
Can I interrupt for just a
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
Well, I just think it's important before we get way too far away from it, and everything you're saying is completely right, and I want you to continue.
Were you looking
But
for-
neurotrauma in general. So you said
Yeah.
TBI and stroke, but I think what we have learned over time is like there's so many different levels of neurotrauma, and although there's even more that we would love to reach out to, that is kind of our base. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew this
and-
neurotrauma in general, because we have
Yes.
some other friends that have dealt with some blows that take away their ability to move and to function properly, that didn't have a stroke and didn't have a TBI, but they went through a neurotrauma. So anyways,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, then I also think it's important to let people know that the podcast is really just to share the struggle. It is, and it is more, health trauma and, struggles in your life that are around, being human, and what that is when that, you get into a rough spot. So you'll see, on our podcast that we have, cancer survivors and TBI people, like all people, that have gone through all different walks. But then the website and the charity really focuses on particular neurotrauma. And so, I just want to kind of clarify that for people that are kind of wondering, how it comes together. That's how we're doing it. So the podcast is focused on just health traumas in general, but our charity is focused in helping neurotrauma in general.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think in season 2, we're going to probably do, we've already discussed it, just kind of really open that and broaden that range up. I've been approached by people some people that didn't even have neurotrauma, just trauma in general. So, really, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're trying to tell a story about life, and it's a special thing we all have, but there's also a lot of struggle in that. And I think that's part of growing in the Lord as well.
Well, I'd like to make clear that in my situation, I've had no problems with the financial side of it because of my family. Who has bailed me out many times in my life, but this is probably the most, but it's a big one. But my family, specifically my parents, have helped me in more than just money. There's a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot when you have something like this happen to you and you're not prepared for it, which I was not in any way, shape, or form. So I've had, and it's not just my parents. I have a community around me that has been more than any human could expect as far as stability goes for going through this process, working your way through this process. That being said, it is a huge reason why I feel like to whom much is given, much is required. It is part of the thing that I was expressing before this even happened to me was my life has been too easy. I've never had to really struggle. Never had to really worry about, always had like a government bailout plan that was available to me for anything that I'd tried and it failed and whatever, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I always have had a safety net, not only financially, but spiritually. My father and my mother have covered me. My whole family has covered me in a spiritual covering my entire life. And it felt like I was wasting it. And that's what I was expressing. So my point being, I feel like all that was fed into me, very, very, very little of it has been fed and sown into other people. And my best friend is my best friend for a reason. He has sown into my life and I've sown into his. And our entire lives since kindergarten. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to embarrass him.
Right. Just calling
Just give him a
you don't
shout
get to
out.
have that. You don't get to have friends that long very often. So
Him and his whole family.
I'm going to call mine out. Mine would be Caleb. That's probably my longest standing friend from 3rd grade. I didn't make it all the way to
Chad
kindergarten.
is my best friend.
There you go. It's out there.
So my point being, other than him and his family, and there's a few other scattered people throughout the way, it doesn't feel equitable for what I've been given as to what I have provided. So I have an urge in my gut and in my heart to do it. I have no clue what that means. But I know that I didn't start a podcast. I didn't get a 501c3 set up and accomplished. My dad did. I've been involved with ministry stuff and with those nonprofit organization type stuff. I've been involved with them, but I've never set them up. You did. And it's for this community that I'm now a part of. Right. Yeah. Unfortunately and fortunately.
The club. Yeah.
I think for all of us, we're about to see, I'm hopeful for those that are following the podcast, the people that have joined the group with us, that we're trying to support now, the funds we're trying to raise in the future, the events that I'm feeling that we are going to do that are coming up, that are going to be huge. I think it's going to be revealed to us. I feel like this was there were some things that needed to fall in place, in God's time, obviously. And I have a hard time, same thing we were talking about, of just not like pushing. Like I see it and my compass gets turned and I'm like, boom, that's the direction I'm going. Super hard. And so it's taken some patience.
You're slower these days to really listen, to what it is that you need to do and it be done in the right heart. And I will say we have been very fortunate, and Trent set some stuff up in our lives that we were working towards, never realizing that this was the moment, really. And so whenever our community, whenever our church, helped us monetarily, we were able to rest in the fact that we can pay this forward, because we would not have probably been able to do that, or I would have been really scared to been able to do that, just as you just don't know what the medical bills are about to look like, right? And we were just super fortunate and in God's hands. But yeah, we were able to pay that forward, and just to see quickly who we were able to help. And get to, help him with what is it called, an AFO? Is when you have and because the insurance wasn't paying. And so to get him that AFO, and now he's walking, and now he's supporting his family again. And now, he's flying and he's doing this, just amazing.
That is amazing. And that is what I want to be a part of. It's not just the practical. This is a perfect example of the melding of the practical and the spiritual, because we are called to be a practical comfort to those that are brokenhearted. They're walking that broken road, that have no one else to turn to. They're down, they're destitute, they're without funds, maybe without food, without just a friend. We're called to practically help those people. As believers, but
way.
That's right. But that's ultimately, and most people are just in a position of need.
Yes.
And I just don't feel like I'm in a position of need. Yes. Even though this has happened to me, I feel like I'm in a position of be a comfort to those around you, and then your community first, to your family first, and then and I feel like community has become my family. Yes. So how can I help comfort these people, Lord? Well, there's this dude named Trent who's starting some stuff up. Maybe you can be a part of that. That's what I heard in my heart. And so that's where I'm at. And I feel a need to find, it's why we have to be in the Lord. We have to be in the Word. We have to be studied up to be able to hear and follow His Spirit, because I could easily do it. What you said, your tendency is to just, I see it and I'm going to just go at it like a dog on a bone. Let's get after it. But that isn't necessarily the smartest way.
Yeah. Strong arming it is not going to work. Yeah.
That's right.
I want to stay weak. As weird as that sounds. I want to stay weak and humbled. I want the Lord to work in my life, and I want it to be clear. I want it to be something that I can't argue with in myself.
Yes.
Whether it's me or whether it's the Lord.
Which is what happened with us, with Nathan, and his. That actually will come out before this podcast. But anyhow, we're doing a fundraiser for him, trying to help him out some. But I was tagged on Facebook, Trent Peterson. We're going to this young man that needed help, and they're trying to raise money for. And I said, well, okay. So I look it up, and the story right now I've been trying to tell everybody, and this is exactly how it happened. I'm sitting there typing, I can't come see you this week, but I can do it next week. I'm really busy this week. Let's set up a time for next week. I'm trying, and I get like to the end of that text, and I delete it, and I go back and I type it a different way. And I deleted it again. And it was just like, I was fighting it. And I was like, wow. Okay, fine, Lord. I'm going to go. So I type in, hey, can we meet today? This is not my plans. I had other things to do.
And this
that
was
day.
his mom that you were talking to.
Yeah, I was talking to his mom.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to him yet. And she was pretty adamant. We're going to meet that day. So I tell him, hey, we're going to drive over here and we're going to go meet this kid. And then he tells me we do. And I'm going to leave that for his podcast when it drops. But he does tell the story, and it was just like, hair on the back of the neck. I probably teared up a little bit, and I was like, well, I know exactly why I'm here today now. That's it. Other than just the mission that we're trying in general, the story he told me in that moment, I was like, oh, that's why it was so important for us to go that day.
And that you listened.
Oh yeah, it was
to the pressing of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I normally would probably have just done what Trent wanted to do, which was be lazy and tired.
Yeah, you recognize
know?
that sometimes days need to be a little bit more planned, right? Especially if you have something physical that you're going to go do, or maybe mentally taxing, you just have to plan it.
There is practicality to all this, but there is also a sensitivity to the Spirit of the Lord, and being willing to not only be willing, but being able to recognize it. And recognizing it takes practice.
Yes.
It doesn't just naturally come to you because it's unnatural.
Right.
To listen to that still small voice, and I am actively engaging and trying to be more of a participant in the small voice in my heart. Yeah, that conversation in my heart, instead of trying to jump into the deep end without my water wings, because I need water wings. I had a stroke.
Yes. We all need water wings, whether we realize it or not, right?
Well, that is you could say stereotypically it's a man thing. They just dive headfirst into problems. We'll fix it.
Right. I just came from a men's conference. That was one of the things they were discussing about that.
Oh, really? Well, it is a stereotype for a reason. We all deal with it. Well, I think the Lord wants more, just male or female, it doesn't matter. He just wants a soft heart and a humble heart, and someone who's willing to hear him in their life. And that's what I encouraged you the other day to do. And I hope the Lord did some powerful things.
It was awesome.
Awesome.
The whole weekend was awesome. And I had energy to the bitter end.
I don't even know how. I really,
because I think we left
divine. It had to have been Thursday. We left on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, and then I did the men's conference, so that was Friday, and I talked to my friend's ear off. Probably he was ready to go to bed, but I was like, I just had a lot of things in my heart, especially was very excited after the first night of that conference. And I walked into that still a little bit hesitant. I'm not big on the big corporate church, and it was one, but man, it was the word was amazing. My heart was open to it. So I was super excited. But yeah, that was Friday night, and then Saturday night.
Well, we went to a graduation. Then I took you to Mansfield, dropped you off. I drove to Dallas while you stayed there and spent the night. I drove back to Mansfield to drive. Oh no, I drove to support a friend.
Right.
In a medical situation.
So, that was just a big weekend for us, and a lot of amazing things happened. And I think I can cut it out if we didn't have this, but I don't know if we talked about Brian before the break or not. That was also a very neat thing we got to be part of in the middle of a parking lot. We hung out and circled up, prayed for him. So, again, that multiplier was at work. But It was a good weekend. Super blessed and just happy to be able to do that. And that's the whole reason why we're doing this, I think. So I guess we're going to start wrapping it up. This was a really busy year for us. Really excited to see what's going to happen next year with having some help. Callie's invested a lot of time as well. And I'm very thankful for her as well. She's done a great job. She runs all of our social media. And anything that you're going to see on the internet is pretty much driven by her. All the logo work, everything, website work, that's Callie's work. And I really believe one thing that is the ministry at the hospital, I want to do that, and I still want to be able to do that, but I know that's in y'all's heart to do as well. So I'm excited. You got your peer mentorship training done, right? So sort of, kind of.
It's almost
As far as I know, we're about halfway, maybe a little more.
Yeah,
so a few more things to do.
Either way, next year we're going to be able to go have a little bit of a multiplier there and be able to reach out a little bit more instead of, and hopefully not necessarily reduce the amount of times I'm going there, but increase the amount of times that we are there in general for people in need, because there are a lot of people needing support. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God willing, that is, I know that's the plan, and I don't have any real big ideas. I do have a few small ideas. Some I've mentioned, some I haven't mentioned to you yet. But we have kind of a universe of people around us too. Some related to business and other ways that we know some people that I just feel in my heart when the time is right, I can bring up. I need to have a little more probably information in hand because, like you said, I believe Amber said this, that you kind of got to have some answers because people have questions.
Absolutely.
And so I intend on having thought through and prayed through some of these things that I'm considering. And hopefully I'll have enough answers for people that I ask that'd be, and we're not just talking financial,
Right.
I'm talking partnerships and people that are willing to invest a little more than, just like you and I used to, we both admitted we were kind of here's some cash, they'll take care of that problem.
Right.
Here's some cash, they'll take care of that problem. Don't talk to me about it anymore. And the people I have in mind aren't like that. So.
Awesome. Yeah,
Well,
we're a relationship, right? I mean,
I think a lot, we're planning on revealing more. Like I said, I struggled a lot with that this year. We both did. We're kind of up to this point. I know this is probably a lot of people laugh that know us well, but kind of private about those type things and going out, the things that we do. But it takes money to do what we're doing. Right now, we've invested a lot of our own money in the project to get it going. And we're going to put out a video that actually shows a little bit of my journey that I've kind of kept, under wraps this year. So people can see that. And we are trying to put together a little better picture for people that are trying to understand exactly what we're doing.
And why,
and why we're doing it. So, this is kind of the beginning of that. And I'm hoping and praying, and I really feel it in my heart, the next year is going to be a different thing. We got a lot of really cool things coming. So I wanted to thank everybody that's been supportive this year of us and what we're trying to do. The support has all been good, but I do have it on my notes that to remind everybody that we are a nonprofit and it is driven by donations also. So donations by volunteering are very good and very much appreciated. But we also could use some funds. And the funds are what's going to drive us being able to do those special events, bring in speakers that I think will be very good for people to hear. Some of them I've had here on the podcast that are willing to come, but it costs them money to move around too. So, it takes money to do things.
Some of our other costs are looking at like care packages when, for the patient, but then for family as well. It might be going to grab them a quick dinner when they're in the hospital. It could be used for gas for mentors to go out and do some of this volunteer work that we have going on.
Or for caretakers or anything. I mean, everything costs money.
It does.
This is and neurotrauma is pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive by itself. Just the treatments that doctors or insurance companies don't provide, on top of the fuel, like you said, to get back and forth for caretakers, also for mentors and people that are volunteers for the Broken Road. We need help on that. We've talked about, and Callie suggested as well, blankets and Bibles and these other things that we can provide to people when they're in that place. Right now, we've still been making those things happen, but we'd sure like to be able to do a whole lot more.
I'd love to partner with some companies in the future that can help provide some of those niceties. I would love. I've put out our first grant, so hopefully we'll hear back from that in the next couple weeks. That is a local foundation here, so I'm hoping that can kind of give us a kickstart. But yeah, we've got some people that are kind of in event planning in general. But I'm looking at some back office stuff that could help me, because I'm not a grant writer, but I'm looking into what that looks like and understand that there are nonprofits that work for other nonprofits to get them up and going. So this is a whole new world for me and us, all of us. And so I'm excited to see what we can do. There's a lot of stuff out there, and we would love any kind of help that you're willing to give. So there's ways to donate. Did I cut you off? I hope I didn't. There's ways to donate on the website, www.thebrokenroad.org. We just got up with like a t-shirt, because sometimes just walking around with, awareness on a t-shirt is good. So we just got t-shirts off that we put them at a $50 level. Half of that goes to pay for the t-shirt, and then the other half goes back to the Broken Road for the project in general. And we're hoping to have some campaigns for people in the future that go specifically for them. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, we're got a lot of big plans, but like I said, it just takes money, that I mentioned down here before. Adaptations are very expensive as well. Insurance doesn't like to cover a lot of that. You being in a wheelchair, for a fact, opening the door and closing the door in particular is a pain in the butt. So those little things like that, for me, I'm pretty passionate about, trying to, because a lot of people don't get to get back up on their 2 feet. I want to be able to provide that and then go home, and that be not a stress that they're dealing with is how am I going to get in and out of my house, Okay, well, we have access to a contractor that'll come, build you a ramp, put in some auto openers, or whatever their case may be. We're barely at the precipice of this.
Ultimately, this is all in the hands of the Lord.
Absolutely.
This is not going to be through my effort and your effort as much as just being willing vessels of whatever the Lord may be doing here.
Right.
So our timetable isn't a deadline. It's just that we know we want to do it, and we rely on the Lord to knit together this group of people that we have in our minds and in our hearts, of companies and individual people that I'm thinking of. It's all in the Lord's hands. It's not because of us.
That's right.
But, like I've been told a million times in my life, you just set your sail and let the Spirit of the Lord be the wind that blows you to whatever port it is that He has for you to port into. And we are setting our sail. And it is a conscious choice to be involved. And I want to talk to people that I think will also not just throw money, but want to see the need for comfort, see the need on a spiritual and practical level. And just be a help to others. It's all I want to do. I don't want to stress about it, although my tendency is to stress out over it. how do I do this, and who do I talk to, and how's it go, and how's this work, and how's that work?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. You just stay diligent. You guys have already done your things that you know to do at the moment. And I pray it resonates with the community and with people that listen to this podcast, that realize they're not just getting a product. Mm-hmm. It's not something to help build your name so much as just help people.
Absolutely.
Because I know you're like me, you're not made of money. And it takes money, and the Lord will provide it.
Right. I think that's an awesome way to leave it, that we're setting so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Amen.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add to it? I think that was a really good way to end it.
No, I think that's it, right?
About you,
Lord
Jen?
willing, right?
We're grateful.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for, again, the continued support. This is the end of season 1. We'll be back January at some point with the next season, and look to do some neat things with everybody. So God bless. Take care.
Bye.
I'll do my best one day at a time on the broken road, on a broken road.